do not want us all superior imperial presidency again. All the loopholes that were exploited by Uhuru and Ruto to foist themselves as despots, as dictators, because they crippled all the functionalities of independent commissions, of the arms of government. Those are where we are going to put so that no other president will do that. That you can go and bribe MPs and they change laws. No. And we kill the opposition, and now we just have a bunch of praise singers who have no shame that Kimani Ichung'wah can say that they passed the finance bill in December. No public participation. They are literally telling us we are gangster mtadu. Kesho simuonyeshe mnaweza do nini. Over and above not being unresponsive to our grievances, they come to vomit on our shoes. They come to insult our collective intelligence. Will this be our way of life? Will this be our children's way of life? Whichever state lodge atakuwa amejificha. Mahali mtaona he might go and hide in an NIS safe house. Mahali mtaona gari mingi zimeingia hivyo tu. Muone tu magari kama no less than 5 zimeingia. Mjue huyo ni Ruto ana move. Kwa hivyo mpige picha kwa sababu lazima tutaoccupy one of those homes. One of those safe houses are NIS. Nikaambia Nurdin Haji, toka Kenya. Nurdin. You know all of these abduction project imekuwa yako. It was your brainchild. Well done. Kilicho na mwanzo kina mwisho, Nurdin Haji. Kilicho na mwanzo. There is nothing lasts forever. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Nehi. So, kesho, you know what to do. You're not listening to those Githeri media journalists. Mukiwaona kwanza Githeri media ndio wanamuitianga polisi. So muondoke kabisa. Ukiona Githeri media mahali, ondoka. You're going straight. There is no CBD. There is no nothing. Mwanza hivyo. Watu wenye wanatoka Westlands. Watu wenye wanatoka Lavington. Watu wenye wanatoka Outer Ring Road. Huko area za Babadogo na wapi. Watu wenye wanatoka Jogoo Road. Jogoo Road mulikuwa mnabomolewa manyumba the other day. Eti to pave way for affordable housing yenye hakuna mtu anajua who will qualify for them. Kwa hivyo msitu let down watu wa Babadogo area. Watu wa Hamza, mnajua nyumba zenyu zilibomolewa ama ziko karibu kubomolewa. You know that. Ni nini mnatakanga kujifanya wakati tuko tayari kubadilisha nchi? Watu wa pipeline, mnaona tu mnakaa nje. No sewage, no water, no nothing. Pipeline people. Watu wa Githurai, watu wa Kasarani, watu wa Mwiki, nyinyi, watu wa Wendani, watu wa Zima, watu wa Kamiti Road, watu wa Roysa, watu wa Lumumba Drive, si mumeshinda mumegomanga hapo juu ya hiyo kabarabara. Lumumba Drive kesho tusione mtu amekaa ako kwa nyumba. Wewe mtokeleze. Hamukiingia wewe unatoka na marafiki wako. You have your clique wenye mnatoka na wao. Now your clique should not be penetrated by an outsider hata akikupatia story interesting aje. Uachana muende tu as your clique and you move. So you are only clique na hii clique iko hivyo na hii clique hivyo until you breach that state house. Mukiingia kutoka hapo, sky is the limit. Mwanze sherehe, concert, nini, munatoka muende wapi? Wengine wenyu hata hamjawahi ingia state house. This is your one and only lifetime chance. Ingia ndani, piga ma selfie. Tunataka kuona hizo tomorrow we want to take over the internet of the world. So it's just posting paka hii hashtag ifikie all the world leaders to know that William Ruto's time is up. To know that Kenya has recalibrated its moral compass. Kwa hivyo hakuna kitu ingine kesho. Mambo ya maua watu wangeenda leo. They've been a whole week. Watu wa maua wangeenda leo. Kanisa watu walienda. Nairobi Cinema, they've been services. From Sunday, even other churches, Sitam. There is this pastor who spoke very well. It's called Muiruri. Bishop. This is a very powerful sermon. He said, we cannot be relying on prayer when our effort is what is determined and required at that moment. When you're digging your shamba, it's your effort. When you're planting, it's your effort. The only thing you can pray for is rain. Sasa sisi, what is needed, we have prayed for good governance. Tumewaombea hawa watu, wakaambiwa they are leaders who are chosen by God, lakini tunaona hawa ni makafiri. These are demons. So prayer is not now the option. Hiyo sidestep hiyo. Now our option now is to do what is required of us. And which is it? It is to occupy State House. Hallelujah. Greet your neighbor right now. Greet your husband. Greet your wife. Greet your girlfriend. Greet your son. Greet your daughter and tell them tomorrow is Liberation Day. The real one. The one we were given in 1963 was a scam. The 2002 NAC revolution was a scam. This is the real one. You must rise to the occasion, fellow Kenyans. You must take charge. You must ignore the sideshows. You must block the psyops. You must profile the commercial activists. You must expunge the very media journalists from your circles. You must deal with goons. We must take our country back. This is serious business. This is not a joke. Tomorrow is not a fanfare. Tomorrow is something that has bothered us. It is something that has been in our minds for long. I spent the 10 years of the Uhuru presidency listening to Dennis Itumbi saying, Kenyans cannot do a revolution. We are too divided. We are too tribal. They have tried to throw that tribalism card. It's backfiring. You have to be focused. Politicians, if you are politicians watching this broadcast, politicians, all of you leave the country, by the way. Mumepata flights, ebu tokeni. Tokeni. Mambo bado. Politicians, David Ndi, Mutahi Ngunyi, Dennis Itumbi. You are the people who have subjected us to all of this mental anguish. Why? You want me to be in a constant state of anxiety and stress, consuming your psyops so that you can steal. Because you're not creative enough to generate your own wealth and money. Now we are telling you, enough is enough. 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 David Ndi, have you flown out of the country? Can you fly out now? Mutahi Ngunyi, can you leave your house in Runda and leave the country now? Stop staying there with Ruto. Ruto will be shipped out by KDF, taken to Moi Air Base and flown to his country of choice. I'm sure if he's a smart person, he has already made those provisions. Who will fly you? David Ndi. Who will fly you? Dennis Itumbi. Who will fly you? Mutahi Ngunyi. Can you leave the country now? Stop thinking that kuna sasa mahali ingine mmebakisha, you have an extra psyop. No. Hapana. Sasa time imeisha. Can you leave? Governors. Have you left? Waigoro, you think these are those days you used to catwalk with Kizungu Mingi? Think anyone has time for that kind of bullshit? Can you leave the country? I wrote this like 2 weeks ago, telling you to please. But yini amskizi because you thought there is an extra card that Ruto has. Which one? The Muzungus who he has been touting, who has been saying, oh, these are my people. They wrote a state. I don't know whether it's who wrote that, my friend. They're talking about issues for Kenyans, like goons. I had even forgotten about those unmarked Subarus. They were in the statement by the Musungu. So who is left with Ruto? KDF cannot come to the streets. KDF, their work is to ensure they fly out Ruto and his family. Tumewapatia hiyo mandate. Hiyo munaweza sign voucher ya mafuta. Charles Kahariri, Chief of General Staff. Tumekuauthorize usign hiyo voucher ya kufukuza. Unaweza hata wapatia push mpaka mahali hapo, and then wataenda Dubai, hawataenda mbali, sio mahali. And then unajua Dubai ni pazuri sana kuwaitisha, ni haraka haraka watakam. Once we create the tribunal, special tribunal to charge William Ruto for crimes against humanity, for corruption. This is stuff that has been done before. You're not reinventing the wheel. Let nobody charge you. Let nobody scare you that you're going to be charged with treason. Let any police arrest a protester tomorrow. Aone. Muliona vile DCI walifurushwa in a hotel in Karatina. DCI lelo like an envelope wherever you are. Mujaribu kwenda hivyo na civilian zenyu. Mutachomwa nyinyi DCI, mutachomwa. Watu wa Kiambu Road nimemwambia wengine lazima muingie DCI, musalimie Mohamed Amin na muulize mahali anaitwa Michael Sang ako wapi. Kama kuna kitu ingine munataka niongee, muniambie. But thank you very much for tuning in. Today we were 18,000 of us. Mulale vizuri, 18,000 is enough even to do a revolution. Forget about even bigger numbers. If you have heard what I have said, if you have understood that every wave of change has been hijacked, has been co-opted and neutered, that we have never had an opposition in Kenya. This is the first and only time that we have had an opposition. Every opposition since the 1992 election, multi-party election, has been co-opted. They have just been acting. James Orengo is an actor. He's a scammer. Anyang' Nyong'o is an actor. He's a scammer. Martha Karua is an actor. He's a scammer. Everyone who was an activist in the 90s, and they're the ones who have mentored the current crop of commercial activists. All of them were co-opted. All of them were part of the establishment. We are not here. This movement is not about rejuvenating the dead careers of people like Maraga or people like Matiang'i. Fuck them. Where were they when people were dying last year? We are not dealing with them. Rex Masai did not die so that Matiang'i can be president. Albert Ojwang was not dead or was not killed so that David Maraga can be president. No, we want institutional and structural overhaul. No negotiations. And we are going to do it fast because we are smart. We are going to crowdsource. We are going to use blockchain. Everyone will have their input looked into so that we know what's happening in this industry. And we don't want in the transitional council any sitting member of the professional bodies in Kenya. Because all the professional bodies were co-opted. LSK, Faith Odhiambo, is a thug. He's a scammer. We don't want to see you, LSK. You were co-opted. You're part of the government. You are an extension of the cannibalistic Ruto regime. We are going to get credible people from within, but not the current crop of officials in those. Just like the student leaders, we saw some of them selling out. We know you have sold out. We want nothing other than institutional and structural overhaul. It cannot be achieved by individuals. It cannot be achieved by Maraga. It cannot be. Maraga was there as a Chief Justice. What does he want to do now that he couldn't do then? Ni kazi gani imebakia ati sasa nataka kufanya akiwa retire? However much you guys are, I told you many people are suffering from daddy issues. And so when you see an old man speaking, you think that he's speaking a lot of sense. And I told you again, age is not a measure of wisdom. Now we want institutional and structural overhaul. Simple. We do not want us all superior imperial presidency again. All the loopholes that were exploited by Uhuru and Ruto to foist themselves as despots, as dictators, because they crippled all the functionalities of independent commissions, of the arms of government. Those are where we are going to put, so that no other president will do that. That you can go and bribe MPs and they change laws. No. And we kill the opposition, and now we just have a bunch of praise singers who have no shame that Kimani Ichung'wah can say that they passed the finance bill in December. No public participation. They are literally telling us we are gangster mtadu. Kesho simuonyeshe mnaweza do nini. Kesho simuonyeshe mnaweza do nini. Kesho simuonyeshe mnaweza do nini. They're saying it over and above embarking on wanton looting and corruption, over and above not being unresponsive to our grievances. They come to vomit on our shoes. They come to insult our collective intelligence. Will this be our way of life? Will this be our children's way of life? I went in hiding to shoot this very content for this specific day.